A long time ago in an unknown region, far, far away.
Kinda mad I should download like a Thrawn soundbite.
I thought of that and I'll just do it. Maybe next week.
I'll look into it next week.
Get a copyright strike.
Hey, if it's deep enough in the episode,
Huh?
if it's deep enough in the episode, they won't pull it.
That's not true. Hey everyone, welcome back to a Thrawn-tastic episode of Empire Radio. I'm Jeremiah.
I'm Drew.
And we are back. After 2 weeks, we had last week off.
It felt like forever, honestly.
It has been a while. Longer than it seems. But here's the thing. We needed a little break because Andor, that was a lot of work. That was...
Truth.
We did all those episodes plus some Jedi Tales stuff, Tales of the Jedi, and we just needed an extra week of rest.
We're about to get super busy again, so
yeah. So we might as well get some
news out of the way.
Just some stuff. So yeah. So one, if you didn't see the special video I posted last week on YouTube, only on YouTube exclusive.
True, YouTube.
It's the famous watermelon debate, which was only seen in the post-game show on Twitch like over a year ago. So if you want to see something that happened that was really great on Twitch after one of our recordings, go watch the video. It's only like 9 minutes. Super funny. But also, Drew.
Yeah.
What did you post? Last night?
Oh, true. Yeah, last night. It was a long story. It is hard to get footage from your phone to any computer.
Why?
Because like I airdropped it to my Mac and then for some reason it wouldn't work on my editing software here. I feel like I need to have a conversation with you outside of this. But anyways, so there's like I was like trying to get one piece of footage that ended up actually not even being in this video. But I wanted to post this on Monday. But because of that, I was trying to get it, couldn't get it done. I was like, all right, I'll do it Tuesday. Still couldn't figure it out. So then I just posted it anyways. But yes, if you go to our YouTube, which you guys should go over there, watch the watermelon thing. But also the vlog from Twin Cities Con is live over there as well. So you guys go check out that video. Give it a thumbs up. There's people in the chat that probably already watched it. I forgot to give it a thumbs up. So go back and give it a thumbs up. Because why not? It was fun. And yeah, so that vlog is live. It's like it's a decent size.
Was it like 20 minutes or something like that?
I don't even chat.
But
like 30 minutes or something.
Yeah. So definitely check that out. And
35 minutes.
Oh, 35 minutes?
Wait. Dang. No, 28 minutes, my
bad. But yeah, go check that out. I skipped ahead to the one part that I knew was in the vlog, so I have yet to watch it, but okay, calm down. But yes, so those are two special videos on YouTube. Go check those out.
And you know what? That vlog video has, like you were saying, it has some things that could potentially get brought up today or next week because the writer of the books that we're going over was at the con and there's panel conversation from that. So go over there and watch it.
Right. And then we should say that supposedly, like in a couple days, there's going to be Jedi Survivor gameplay footage released, which is a rumor. Now, we won't cover the gameplay stuff, but if there's a trailer for the game, we might do that on the evening of Sunday the 18th. Because next week we're going to do week 2 of Thrawn Ascendency trilogy, and we didn't want to break it up. So if there's a trailer, just keep that in mind.
Yes. also there's rumors that Christmas Day at some point on television we might also get Mando season 3 trailer.
That could be a nice
So
present, but because it was announced that March 1st is season
yes,
3 of Mando, so
and didn't even Star Wars announce that too?
yeah,
Like it's
that's
confirmed.
official. That's official. So
So
um, it looks
Bad Batch
like
and Mando are gonna cross
ho-
sometimes.
so. Hopefully, okay,
Allegedly.
allegedly, because last time we thought it was going to be overlapping this past fall with Andor and
Mhm.
Bad Batch, but they delayed Bad Batch, and now it looks like the last 5-6 weeks of Bad Batch is gonna overlap with the first 5-6 weeks of
What if they do
Mando.
like a 5 weeks worth of 2 episodes?
2 episodes each week.
Yeah.
I don't think they'll do that. That'd be pretty crazy if they did.
Episode 1, we get like 4 episodes. It's possible.
Because they did say that it's gonna be the first 2 episodes of Bad Batch are gonna be on that first day, Wednesday
Oh
the 4th.
man, why do they do
So I'm guessing
so
it's gonna be
buckle
like.
up.
So yeah, we got to figure out how we're gonna do all this content, but
I can't imagine them dropping 2 Star Wars things on the same day though.
right, which is weird. Like they should
And
just
March 1st is a Wednesday too, right?
right, and so I'm guessing if I'm hoping that they move Bad Batch to Fridays when
Once
Mando
they do
comes
that,
out.
like they'll switch the days around.
Hopefully they do that because like as much as I love Star Wars, it's a
Yeah,
lot of stuff to do at one time.
it's a
So
lot for us to create. For a viewer, if we weren't creating podcasts, it would be amazing.
right,
But we're trying to create content for you guys, and it is a lot. Granted, I just looked behind me, and all my Bad Batch figures fell over at the exact same time. So
like right now.
just right now, if you can see behind me,
That's kind of
so
scary.
just
But
the Bad Batch figures too.
but yeah, so but we might also get a Bad Batch trailer sometime this month. Also, like I'm because we've
True.
only had a teaser trailer, and that was like what Star Wars Celebration. So that was like back in
Yes.
May or something. So um, we're not gonna know what's gonna happen until it happens. So we'll
Yep.
see, but we'll keep you posted. Join the Discord so you get all the updates
True.
on any changes to schedules or anything like that.
Yep, when we're doing them and stuff like that. That's the best way to know because like um we used to be consistent Tuesdays, but like with all this stuff, like we jump all over the place now. So buckle up. Make sure you guys are following and subscribing on all your platforms that you guys need to follow us on so you know when the episodes go live.
Yeah,
We
yeah.
have a lot more consistent listeners still, and we love you guys. Uh,
Yeah, and it seems like our YouTube videos are getting a few more watches here and there, so
True.
we're growing there. But tonight,
Anyways,
you're not here for announcements. You're
well,
here
maybe they are.
for maybe
Maybe.
you are. Well, have a good night then if that's all you hear.
Bye.
See you next week. But yes, we have finally gotten to the Thrawn Ascendency trilogy here on Empire Radio. We've been talking about. Yep. But we were originally going to do it in January. We're gonna do both trilogies in January, but then they changed the Bad Batch schedule to January, so then didn't have January to do the stuff. So we're just doing the Ascendancy trilogy. I have not read any of the second Empire era trilogy, even though Drew has in the past, right?
I read those first because they came out first.
They came out first, but I haven't. So no spoilers. I have yet to. I know some basic stuff here and there of what happened in the Empire era Thrawn stuff, but
And
not
hot
enough.
take, I like those books more. And I know that's a hot take because I feel like a lot of people actually like these ones more. So, but you don't know.
But you
So
don't
I
know.
guess you'll have to let us know
Yep.
when we go
But
over
so we don't
those.
know when we're gonna do the second trilogy. Maybe come May
September?
May or something when there's after
Well,
Mando season 3 and
isn't
between Ahsoka and Mando.
yeah, I guess it depends on when Ahsoka's coming out.
Yeah, so
Probably August, I would assume. But
but
no, but isn't Andor season when's
that's not
that?
that's
That's
not
in,
gonna be
like,
for
2
another 2 years, so we don't
What's
gotta
that
worry
other
about that.
show, though?
Acolyte and
Yeah.
and Skeleton Crew. So,
Everyone's excited for the Acolyte right now.
but that's quite a ways away. We don't gotta worry about that. But yes, so and then we were wanting to do the next phase of the High Republic adult novels, which the first one came out a couple weeks ago, but we don't know when we're gonna be able to do that. So there's too much Star Wars content to cover, like we said. So, but
Which
so
not a bad thing.
it's
It's
not a
not a
bad thing, but I just need to win a $500 million Powerball so I can
so we can just do this full time.
do this full time.
Or you guys need to do your part and share this with every one of your friends
Yep.
and
Or just
spam
or
comment
just
sections and
send us money. You could do that too.
or that. Donate.
Donate.
Do we have
It,
like a donated Venmo that people used to donate?
I don't know. There's probably like millions of dollars on there that we don't even know
Okay,
about.
chill, not millions.
But yes, so we're here talking about the Thrawn Ascendency trilogy. So we're gonna do this in 2 weeks time. So or 2 weeks, 2 episodes.
Mhm,
So tonight we're not specifically going to be talking about the plot or the storyline of the trilogy. What we're actually doing is talking about the world building of the Ascendancy, of the chaos, of the unknown regions, because it's we get to have a Star Wars story that's completely separate from the rest of the Star Wars galaxy, even though it's the same universe in a sense. It's outside on its own thing and it's its own way of life. And I thought it would be really fun to talk about like just the world building of the Chiss setting of like the net how we talk about like the lesser space and the chaos. There's navigators, there's different technology, there's different
mhm,
views of the understandings of what the force is and the
yeah,
politics and the military and stuff. So it's just a refreshing thing because you could read this and not really know nothing about Star Wars,
and
and
you'll be fine.
you'll be fine. Like this is just a standalone thing, even though there's kind of little Easter eggs, little here and there,
Little
um,
hints, but
little
a lot of it is very much
standalone,
its own thing.
and so I thought it would be great to talk about it. So
Yeah.
um, let's just jump into
Honestly,
it,
it's even its own thing even more than the High Republic books are.
right? Because High Republic, that's just the same stuff, like the same
Yeah,
universe. It's just
just like
before.
way
So,
earlier.
so yes. So the Thrawn Ascendancy trilogy. So we learn in these books that the Chiss Ascendancy is located within the unknown regions of the galaxy, which is beyond the outer rim, basically. And it's they refer to it as the chaos, um, and the rest of the galaxy would refer to it as the unknown regions, which I did not, for some reason, I didn't realize this, but in episode 9, Exegol,
Mhm.
that was located in the unknown regions,
Yeah.
which I guess I should have known better, which would make sense because what we learn about the chaos is that it's extremely difficult to navigate. And that's why it's
Mhm.
called the chaos. It's just the star systems and all these different gravity wells and who knows what else is going on there. It's very difficult to navigate, so people don't normally go out there. Um,
Yeah, there's not like hyperspace lanes or anything like that.
right.
Like it's
So
very much
so that's why in episode 9, you needed that special device to find your way to Exegol because normal hyperdrive calculations and stuff wouldn't work out there. So you needed a special path to follow. So
yeah.
um, I guess I should probably go back and watch those scenes of them going through the unknown region just to see, like, visualize more what the
What the
chaos looks
chaos.
like because
Yeah.
it was very interesting. And it's just an interesting way of like they're isolated out there in the unknown regions, and no one goes out there and really touches it. So it's like it's their own separate world. Um,
Just good hiding spots.
yeah, and what's also interesting is the people in the chaos refer to the known regions as lesser space, which is kind of funny that the bigger majority is called lesser, which I think maybe that they call it lesser space because they think down on those out there, or they think them lesser. Um,
That's what I assumed.
but it's just interesting that like there's so much more advancement in lesser space in the galaxy that we know, but they choose to stay in the chaos, which I don't think they really gave much explanation for why. They kind of I should in the
Well,
in the
but it's
opening chapters or whatever the first book, like they talked about how they used to go out in lesser space. They
yeah.
participated with like the Jedi and Sith war or something like that. There was reference to, so like they used to be part of it or at least dabble, but now it's like they're completely isolated. It seems like.
Yeah, and I think with it's kind of like one of those things where like you stay where you're familiar.
Right.
Like those those species of alien and humanoids, like they stay in those regions because they're more familiar and they're more what they're used to. And I feel like that's like a lot with like normal. I think it's supposed to represent like how people move and then they end up moving back to where they're from because that's what they're familiar with and they feel comfortable with.
Right.
And I feel like that's kind of what Timothy was trying to portray with the lesser space. It's like it's it has a lot to do with like what you're familiar with and like why like there's times where characters do go out into the other regions of space, but then they end up coming back because that's what they know.
Right. Right. And is it? And we'll talk about this maybe a little bit later when we talk about like the different families and stuff. But um, I always assumed that the unknown regions was like a small area,
Mm,
but it's actually really big because you have all these different uh, Chiss families,
yep.
and they each have their own home planet, and they also have like other planets that they use for other things, and
Hmm.
it's not just one solar system with a bunch of planets. It's like every planet has its own star, and so it's like there's literally probably hundreds and hundreds of stars in this unknown regions that are so separate that they have to do hyperspace travel between each thing. So I didn't realize that was so big, but apparently it's gigantic.
Yeah, it's pretty big, which is kind of cool because like I think with that like after like being in like a few panels with Timothy and how he created because a lot of this he like Timothy's on the writer he created this like they're like here you go have fun with this like create this story create the regions and stuff like that so he's able to dabble and play with it and he's making it a lot bigger than a lot of people do assume it is so
Yeah, that's cool. And so uh, the thing that because the chaos is so chaotic to travel, um, we learn that you have to have special navigators that can fly through hyperspace or guide ships through hyperspace, which is really interesting. And so we first learn of people called Skywalkers. Now, I had no idea that this was a thing going into this trilogy. So it was very interesting that Timothy Zahn chose to refer to the Chiss navigators as Skywalkers.
mhm,
Like, that's a pretty, like, I don't want you to say that word on this show, but like, it's like a very risky thing, I guess.
mm,
Um, because Skywalker is the main character in all the Star Wars that we know so far, basically. So, um, and it's a fitting name. Like they're kind
Yeah.
of walking through the skies of the
Well, and
chaos.
that's kind of what should you explain what they do?
Yes. So Skywalkers are there's navigators, and then
Mhm.
Skywalkers are the Chiss version of navigators. And so
Yes.
navigators can be they have like guilds of navigators that you just hire them and they'll navigate hyperspace for you for the right price. But Skywalkers, they're the Chiss ones. They're predominantly little girls. They're found as children, and then usually by their early teens they lose their abilities.
Like in the books, they say around like 13, they're
Yeah,
no longer in use.
yeah, and sometimes maybe they might
Even bef
last a little bit longer or a little bit
Yeah.
shorter, but so what we learn is that they can see into the future by a few seconds. And so when they're going through hyperspace, they can tell, okay, there's this planet that we're going to hit in a few seconds. So I'm just going to navigate the ship, nudge it over a little bit, and then get back on path. And so they're able to, again, like a trance in a sense what's going to be coming up in the path, and they can just navigate past it. And so um, we so Chiri, she is the main Skywalker that we interact with. But then we know like the other navigator that's for hire is Kilori. And so because the girls are so young, like they're not as strong, but people like Kilori and these other navigators, they can go for like hours and hours at a time, and so or
Yeah.
even like a day at a time. It seems like so. Um,
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
thought that was just really an interesting way
Yeah.
because we in a sense we take hyperdrives as for granted. Like
Yep.
it's just so like easy to travel through hyperspace by the time we get to this, the main trilogy era. um and so it's just the way you have to like rely on an individual person. I thought was
Mhm.
this it affects like your whole way of life, especially
Well,
if
and
go ahead.
like, even, like, these Skywalkers, like, they have essentially someone that's hired on as a babysitter to take care of them.
Yeah, to make sure that
What's
they're
what is it called again? It's not called babysitters, it's called
caretakers.
caretakers. Like,
Yeah.
they hire people to come in and take care of them so that, like, literally, as a little kid, all their job is to do is when they're ready, they're supposed to just guide the ship. Like, they're not really supposed to think outside of that,
And
which
the thing is, but which is interesting is that they're treated with such high regard that like they
Mhm.
get special like you have like these military ships that they're on, and like
Yeah.
the military members like in a sense have to submit to the Skywalkers. Like if the Skywalker's not like
Ha
healthy or in a good state of mind, like they have to stop and make sure the Skywalker's okay,
Yep.
um, before they can keep going. And so um,
And they get, like, better food, better quarters, like, everything about them, like, they have to make sure that they're in their best state of mind and best physical health. So, like, there is times throughout these books where they'll be guiding and, like, they'll get burned out,
yeah,
and they have to pretty much sit and wait for this Skywalker to get
because
healthy because they use
and
so much of their capacity in their mind that they get pretty much overloaded,
right,
essentially.
and we
Is
we should also mention though that yes, so there's the Skywalkers. They do long distance hyperspace,
Mhm.
but then they do something called jump by jump that it seems like it's more planned, shorter
Shorter
routes.
routes.
But like it takes your trip, 2 3 times longer to do, or
Mhm.
even so to do those jump by jumps where you jump from point A to point B, stop, recalculate, find another jump point, and you kind of hop on one foot in a sense from
Yeah.
where you want to go. But Skywalkers they do longer trips where they don't have to stop because they can just navigate on their own. And so I think
And
that's just
Skywalkers are
interesting.
very valuable. Like throughout the book, there's other ships that are like, "Oh, I'm gonna need a Skywalker," and they're like, "Well, that's like what 3, 4 months, or even 6 months." I think one of them they said like they couldn't get Skywalker for like 6 months because they're so
Yeah.
short staff, or they're not like able to do it yet because they're young still. And then and but it's a really interesting concept. And like when you're first reading the book, like I read these twice because the first time I read them was when they came out like 4 years ago now almost. And because I think the first one came out like 2000 what
Well, the Ascendency trilogy I think started in 2020.
really? What
Um,
did I think the first one
but
came out
but
like
the but the
18?
but the first trilogy, the
Well, yeah, that one came out like
no, I mean,
7.
well, I'm talking about canon first trilogy came out
Yeah.
was 2017, I think.
Yes. Maybe that's what I'm
So,
thinking of.
but yeah, so um, and we should mention that the Skywalkers are a hidden aspect of the Chiss ascendancy
Correct.
that only the Chiss know of the Skywalkers and outside. So it makes it look like the Chiss ascendancy is weaker in a sense because they don't really see the Chiss using the best modes of transportation in a sense because like they obviously like the Chiss ascendancy is a huge empire in a sense. But they're not like hiring every single navigator that can be hired to do their
Yeah.
shifts. So like there's this kind of like this thing like where people don't really know
How they're navigating.
how they're navigating, but they think that they do you hire navigators because they do. Like
Yeah.
they hire navigators as like a facade, like, oh, we need to get a navigator, so they'll hire a navigator. And so people outside the ascendancy think that they don't have navigators and they have to hire. So I think it's just a very interesting way of doing things.
Yes. It's a very cool concept. Like as like a creator, like for Timothy to come up with this concept is very cool.
Right. And back to just the name Skywalker, like there has to be a connection.
Yeah.
A There has to be because
Mhm.
now I know supposedly like in the first or the next book, which is the first book of the first trilogy,
Mhm.
that there's a discussion between Thrawn and Vader about this term or something like that. And so,
Jeez, I don't remember. I there's so
though I know there is, like, it's just, I just know it is. So, like,
yeah.
but like, I wonder if in the Skywalker lineage, like Anakin's ancestry, Shmi Skywalker, like who were her parents and, the
Like how far
genealogy,
back does it go
how
to?
far back does that go? And I wonder if, you know, going back thousands of years, if that name has any connections to navigators from the chaos or anything like that. Um, I think it would be really cool if they did that somehow. But
I believe, like I don't know if this is proven in canon, but I believe because like the way that the Skywalkers are navigating, they have to be force sensitive, right? Like
right,
or they use the force in certain situations. And like so they're very they're very force sensitive because they're able to see through space. They're able to dodge certain things or go to certain places without killing everyone in the ship. So they're able to view things in their mind.
right, and
So
so
like all
there,
these Skywalkers are very force sensitive.
right. So that's what we learned that. So there's different terms. So we have in the whole trilogy, we get three kind of terms for the navigating ability. So the Skywalkers, so the Chiss Skywalkers, um, they use what they call third sight. So they enter
Mhm.
third sight. Um, but like hired navigators like Kilori, they refer to it as the Great Presence. And we learn that the people of the planet Sunrise, as Thrawn refers to it, they believe in the beyond. And then it is interesting, though, that really briefly, Thrawn and Anakin meet in the, I believe it was the first book, right? Um, where Thrawn and Chewie go out to lesser space and they meet Anakin because he's looking for Padme. And Thrawn and
Yeah.
Anakin, they go team up. We don't see what happens, which I was really mad about.
Yeah.
like, but but we learned that Thrawn talked to Anakin about something called the Force, and
Well,
so
in the second of the original trilogy, though, you do see what they. So the
well,
first.
don't spoil anything
Oh,
for
okay,
me.
my bad, I forgot. But
Don't spoil it for me.
well, if you look at the cover alone, like the cover is like him and Vader,
All right.
but throughout that book, it's going back to when he first met Anakin, back and forth.
So we learned more about what they did.
Yes.
Okay. Well, I'm happy to hear that.
Yep.
But yes, so the Force is a thing in the chaos that these navigators tap into. Um, and so it's interesting. It'd be interesting to know, like, can these navigators use the Force in other ways? Like, could they be taken into a Jedi order or something and learn how to use their abilities or something? Because if you remember from um, the High Republic books that we read, there was that Force sensitive woman that created those hyperspace lanes for the Nihil. Remember that?
Mhm. Yep, yep,
And
yep.
the Santeca lady. So she was a Force sensitive person that I forget how it was, but like she could see or create hyperspace lanes that tech couldn't discover or use or something like that. And so
Mhm.
it was very interesting that the
In a sense,
chaos.
she was a Skywalker.
Yeah, she was like, it's not the same, like she wasn't like navigating herself, like she
No,
wasn't
but
flying the ships, but like she could still see and sense hyperspace lanes. um and it just kind of adds to like the Force, like it's not just one way, kind of like uh Luke Skywalker says in episode 8, like the Force doesn't belong to the Jedi, like the Force is its own thing, and the Jedi don't get to rule over it or have final say on how it's supposed to work. Um,
and throughout Star Wars, we're learning that, right? Like the more and more content we're getting through Star Wars, there's more and more characters that we're realizing that are Force sensitive, and but they're just not part of the Jedi Order, and so there's like the Jedi Order. It gets like throughout what like Star Wars is doing right now, like the Jedi Order seems a little bit like there was probably so many more better Jedis out there that they just never found.
right,
And like they just like never went like they probably never went to the chaos and like let's find Jedis here. Like that
right,
wasn't like a thing. So like what I don't know. It's kind of cool like to find these characters and realize how powerful and how strong they are and in canon, I should say. Cuz I mean, we know that throughout old Star Wars content, but so
right. And so, yeah, it's just like I didn't think we were gonna get anything about the Force in this trilogy, but like it's
yeah,
always there. You just
yeah.
It's just different for different cultures and how
And I
it's
think the
used and
way
stuff.
that Timothy brings it up throughout this trilogy is like that's not the focal point essentially in these books. It's a lot like what's going on, but there's a lot of other things that are going on in these trilogies with Thrawn and the corruption of like the families and stuff. It's very like if you guys are listening to this and you're like, all right, I'm debating on reading these books, definitely do. And it's very Game of Thronesy. Like there's very like families oriented, a bunch of families, and they're kind of all like interacting with each other, and like there's corruption throughout the whole series. And but then on top of that, there's like these people that are navigating these ships, and the whole time you're like, are they force sensitive? Like, what's going on? Their name is Skywalker. Like, it's very like nail on the head, like screaming at you the entire time. And like, so it's kind of fun to like listen, like to read these books and figure out like what's going on.
Right. And so, and
It's really well done.
the thing is though, the Chiss don't know a lot about this third site, and
Mm-mm.
because uh, in the third book, we learn, was it called the Seekers program or whatever, where
Mm-hmm.
um, like these girls that are discovered to be Skywalkers, like they're brought there and their memories are wiped. I think, if I remember correctly, from like they're with the because they're
Their
taken.
first memeries. Yeah.
So like in a sense, they're treated like Jedi, where they're taken at a very young age, so
Yep.
they don't have attachments. Because I think I was
Yep.
talking about how if you have attachments, like it affects your ability to navigate, and so they remove the memories of these young girls so that have no attachment, so they can use the third sight more effectively,
Mm-hmm.
which it's very reminiscent of how the Jedi take children as babies and all that jazz. And so, um,
Now, do you think when they figured that out to like take them younger so they're able to work longer and like let's get rid of what their first thoughts and stuff like that, do you think someone went and saw like the Jedi Order doing this to Jedis and like they went back and did that to these people?
it's possible. I don't know. It just seems like it's been because
It seems like it's been even longer than the Jedi almost like.
the Jedi has been around for like 10,000 years or something.
True, but how long
But
have
but
these,
like
we don't really
but
know
they've
how long these families have.
I think they've mentioned that the Ascendency has been around for thousands of years.
Hmm.
And I don't. They mentioned the Sith and Jedi wars in the first book, but like I don't know if we know a timeline on that for the canon of like when the Sith Jedi war happened, because I think it's still thousands of years before. So like it'd be hard to say, but like they explained it in the book where it's just that they noticed that their abilities were affected by attachments. So I think they could just figure it out on their own, because
Yeah,
this Seekers program is kind of shady. So like
yeah.
they know what they're doing, but they're
Yeah, it's shitty because, like, not everyone even knows. Like,
right. Most people
not
don't know about it, and it's
they just know, like, "Oh, these are Skywalkers." It throughout the book, you realize, like, more and more where they're coming from, but, like, in the beginning, you don't really they don't even really know, even the people that are navigating the ships or, like, the captains of the ships, they just order them it's just part of the ship, like, "Oh, I need a new gun." You know?
right,
Because, like, when you get introduced to, like, the Skywalker that we get in, like, the first like, in the beginning, you're, like, introduced to this character, and she's a Skywalker, but then she is retired, or she is no longer capable of doing it.
right, right,
So then she leaves, and then she comes back later, and she ends up being one of the caretakers to another Skywalker. But you don't really understand, like, how this happens really in the first novel, like, it's very towards the end of it, you understand more and more.
right.
So
Because like caretakers are not supposed to be former Skywalkers, because
well,
they
in
don't
in the
want the Skywalkers to. compile memories and ideas and talk with each other to figure out that they're being brainwashed at a young age.
Correct.
So like,
Because but in the beginning, they were.
right.
In the beginning, they mentioned, like, they used to be, and then they stopped doing that practice, and we don't really understand why, and then throughout, you understand why, but
But it just shows how secretive the Skywalker program is, and
Mhm.
how like manipulative it is, and because
Yeah.
like it's their livelihood for in the chaos is these Skywalkers, and they have to be shady about it and keep it under wraps and lie to people and all this stuff. So
Yep.
it's just very interesting. Like,
It's cool. It's a really cool concept.
yes, and so, but you want to know is another cool concept,
The
which
VCU.
the VCU, which is art, which is very relatable to Thrawn because
True.
he's all about art,
Well,
but
that's literally what he loves art.
he loves art. And if you love art, if you know how to do art, if you're an artist, we have a special request for you from us, and not just from us, but from one of our super fans, Lucy. And so let's
Lucy.
listen to a little commercial from Lucy.
Hey everyone, Lucy here, and I'm pleased to tell you that some of my fellow Empire Radio listeners and I made a fantastic original Star Wars audio drama, all through sending voicemails to the pod. It's called the Voicemail Cinematic Universe. Here's the thing, we need your help. The Empire's goal is to get an illustration made by us listeners for every single voicemail, and we have quite a ways to go. So if you have any sort of artistic abilities, join the crew. Any type of media is welcome. Lego scenes, digital art, paintings, you could even make food art. If you answer this call to action, there's a link in the description that leads directly to a Google Doc. It tells you exactly how to submit your art. This whole VCU project will be 100% fan-made, and we can't wait to see everyone's work. In the words of Emperor Palpatine, do it.
Do it.
Do it. So, Skywalkers, the Force, the Great Presence, Third Sight, all that stuff, navigators. Now, you're asking, well, why do they need all these Skywalkers to navigate? Like, we understand, okay, it's the chaos, it's super chaotic, but why are they reliant on the Force and people? Well, it's because in the chaos, in the unknown regions, the technology is not as advanced as you would think it would be. And so, in Star Wars, we're used to this high tech, hyperdrives and all this jazz, weapon
Ships that have
systems.
lasers coming on the side that just cut ships in half, and
Spoilers for Andor.
I watch Andor.
But yes, so they don't have like hyperdrive systems that can navigate for them, and I think it's very interesting to think of like the drastic difference in technology and how that affects how you live your lives out in space. And so just like looking at like the military ships, they don't have the ability to fight as well as those in lesser space in the galaxy that we're more familiar with.
Yep.
So like just it's just very interesting that they can travel through hyperspace, but they don't have technology that can navigate for them.
Mhm.
I just think that that's interesting, and it's that, and then so if they're military, like it seems like their military is super advanced and powerful, and it might be relative to the rest of the people in the chaos, but compared to the Empire or the Republic's military ability with the clones and stuff like that, it's nothing. Like any Republic ship could probably go into the chaos and take out a fleet of Chiss warships. Like it's just interesting, and so um, I don't know. So when it comes to the military, Like that's the main point of view that we take in this trilogy.
Yep.
Where it's Thrawn, spoiler alert, is a senior commander in the expansionary defense fleet, and so the military is the expansionary defense fleet is the military that protects the Chiss Ascendancy from threats outside of the Ascendancy borders. And so now, but there, even though there is planetary defense systems and abilities for each planet or families or whatever like that, so but there's two separate military operations. But it's just interesting looking at the military abilities, because like they're with their primitive tech, like they don't have shields. They have like these like electro shields that just I don't even. It's hard to explain exactly because you're just hearing descriptions, but it's kind of like an electrical net in a sense that absorbs.
Yeah, even like listening to the audiobook is still hard to explain. Like it's
It just seems like it's like an like electric fence in a sense, like and when blasters or something hits it, like it's able to stop it or diffuse it in a sense,
Mhm.
but like it's not
It's not near as good as what.
what we get in defense shields that we have normally we see. So it's definitely, and so we do learn that they capture a was it when Thrawn met Anakin that he got the technology for the shields.
Yes.
Somehow I can't. Okay, it's been like a couple months since I've read all these
Bro.
books, but like they find alien technology
Yep.
and they bring them back and try and replicate it. And so one of the things that they find is the shields, the shield generators that block laser fire. And so
And I feel like we kind of failed to mention the timeline. Like throughout these books, like it's right as like the Clone Wars is happening currently, right?
right. So there's flashbacks that go like decades before,
Yeah.
but when we meet Anakin Skywalker, when Thrawn meets Anakin, is during the Clone Wars.
Mhm.
And then by the end of the trilogy, the Clone Wars has ended.
Mhm.
And so that's kind of the timeline of this. And so, yes, the military is very primitive in a sense.
Yeah,
And
compared to what's going on in lesser space.
right, because like even like one of their weapons is basically just like slime, balls of slime that just they shoot it, it hits it, and it kind of like deteriorates the hull and tries to like
It's almost
disrupt
like
their
acid.
like acid attacks. It deteriorates their electrical systems and stuff like that, and so that's just very interesting. Like
I would love to see like these books like in an art form.
Well, there's a lot of these battles. I wish I could just watch. Like I wish they were
For real,
movies, because
or even like a anime series or something like.
right, it's because okay, this is the first time I've used audiobooks because the previous books that we've read and discussed on the podcast I've just read.
Yeah.
But like so that I could read faster and get these
Mhm.
books done faster, I used the audiobooks. And so hearing these space battles by the narrator's voice? Thompson, something Thompson, Mark Thompson. He does a good job doing these military battles.
Oh yeah.
And with his enthusiasm and describe, like obviously he's just reading the text,
Yeah.
but so he's not describing it. But like the way it's very enthusiastic. And I'm like, man, these battles are intense. And so there's just some of these battles I wish I could just see, especially the final battle in the final book. Like it's pretty intense.
And like I've said this before, if you guys love reading the books, like read along with the audiobooks, because like just like the sound effects that they put a lot of time in these books. Like it's not just like one person reading it. Like
Right.
there's sound effects, there's music, there's so much. And like yes, Mark Thompson, he does all the narration,
All the voices,
all the
like,
voices. And so like yeah, it's really cool. And like someone at the con I was at, they asked, and it's in the vlog, they asked Timothy Zahn if he has a say in like people's accents, or like what they're supposed to sound like and stuff. And he's like, dude, I haven't even listened to any of these books on tape. He doesn't even know. He
he
said
hasn't even
like,
listened to them?
no, he
Really?
doesn't listen to them. So like people have told him that like one of the main characters in the other book series has a thick southern accent, and he was like, he was explaining why he thinks that is, but he doesn't really know why they chose that accent for that character. And so like it's really interesting that perspective of him as a writer, like to hear that he doesn't even like have a say on these people's voices and what they sound like. And like
I feel like that one that does have the family that does have that thick Southern accent, like they're
mhm.
like farmers, and they
Yeah,
didn't.
yeah.
So
But
like you would think
he
that that
was,
would make sense,
yes,
but
yes.
I would say though that the accents kind of I
It
got
could throw
used
you off a little
I
bit.
got used to it, but it was just weird hearing. Okay, here's a British accent. Here's like a German accent. Here's like a Southern accent. Here's a
And like the one other Sith lady that's with Thrawn, like her accent is like evil sounding, and it's like
what?
a
You mean
really
Arlani?
Arlani's voice sounds so creepy to
She
me.
does really?
Yeah, I don't know. It sounds like a
She just
snake almost.
what are you talking about?
Yeah, I don't know. It
I
sounds
thought
weird to me.
she just has like a maybe a slight German accent or something. But like,
Yeah,
I
I
didn't.
know.
Like most of them were okay, but there was just the ones when they were just weird accents. Because like
Yeah, Eli
the
Vanto
only
is the one I'm talking about, chat. Yeah,
who's that?
you'll find out who he is. He's in the
Oh,
next book.
okay. But um, like so I watched Rebels and knew Thrawn only through Rebels, and that's the voice that I heard of Thrawn. So I was kind of expecting a lot of the voices to sound like him, but no, like we only what we learned though when we meet. So little bit of story, but like one of the leaders of the Seeker program is Thrawn's sister. And so Thrawn is originally from the family, the Kivu family, and his sister has a similar way of talking. So I wonder if the Kivu, like Thrawn's accent, is the Kivu accent, or if that was just like his immediate family's way of talking. But
Mhm.
um, I was just really surprised when all these different accents and voices like were just world like things that we hear in our world. But
Yeah,
I'll tell you right now, Samacro sounded like oh, what's his name? One of the old time actors. Not what is his name? I was just thinking about it. The guy that does like I can't even think of his name. It's not. I can't believe I'm blanking. I was like waiting months to talk about this, and now I can't even remember it.
you did write it down.
Oh gosh. But Smacro, like every time I
You heard
what
his voice, you're like, oh, it's this
what
guy.
is what's the that movie where like the guy with the axe is like goes through the door and like puts his head and is looking for someone. That guy. It's from like the 70s, and he's still like an actor now.
Try to help him out. I
What
have
is it?
no idea what
What
you're
is his
talking about.
name? I can't. Now I'm really embarrassing myself. But the whole every single time he talked, like he was just. I just pictured that guy. Like they should cast him, and if they ever like make the movies of these, they even though he's too old to like,
Get his son or something to do it.
um,
I don't know which guy you're talking about. An axe through a wall?
The Shining. I'm looking it up right now. He says, "Here's Johnny." I gotta look up.
Oh,
What is his name? I'm trying to. I gotta go on IMDb. Jack Nicholson.
oh,
That sounded exactly like Jack Nicholson the whole
I can
entire
see
time.
that.
Every single time that guy, I'm like, this is Jack Nicholson speaking.
Did it throw you off?
At first it was because at first I was like, who the heck does this guy sound like? And I didn't even realize that. I couldn't figure it out till towards the end of the first book. I'm like, oh, that sounds like Jack Nicholson. And then
No, I've never seen The Shining.
I haven't either. I've seen that. That's just a famous clip. But
Maybe we should watch it together.
But every single time, ever since I made that connection, every time you talk, I was like, hey, this is Jack Nicholson with blue paint on his face, talking with red eyes. But
did it throw you off of what he was saying?
No, I was just at first I was like, who does he sound like? So I was distracting. I couldn't put the voice to a name.
That was one thing. Like I said, I read and listened to these books when they first came out, right? And so then when you're like, let's go do them, I was like, okay. And I've been listening to them at work and not following along in the book. It is so hard.
It is.
To understand what they're saying without following along wordly. So I don't recommend just listening to this straight audiobook. I recommend following along with it because it gets to be a lot. All of a sudden, you're thinking of one thing and then they're already in a different part of the book and you're like, wait, what? Your mind can just run away from you.
Because it's all new stuff in this.
Yeah. And it's the wording, it's not like a young adult novel. Like the wording that Timothy uses in these books are just made me feel dumb just listening to it. I'm like, bro, I don't understand what's going on, even though I've already read these books.
Yeah. So, the military, we're talking about the military, they're just, like I said, there's two aspects of the military. There's the defense fleet that defends from the outside of the Ascendency, and then you have planetary defense, military type things. And so it's interesting that because they're outside of the Ascendency, they have to learn all these languages because there's different alien groups and trade languages, and there's different alien species and groups that they're aware of. They're always there. So there's the Garwians, the Vax, there's other ones. And so it's just interesting that they have their own fleet that exists to protect from the outside, which yes, that's what a military does, but it's not just, we're just protecting our planet. It's a big program that stretches enough to protect their entire Ascendancy. Like we talked about, the Ascendancy is super huge. And so, and they're very, when it comes to just, their culture, they're very full of tradition, and they do think highly of themselves. They are the Chiss Ascendancy. They are above everyone. They're more advanced. It's because seemingly, even though they're we talk about their primitive technology, the Chiss do seem like they are the most advanced, generally speaking. Obviously we see military threats in this trilogy that bring them trouble. They're maybe these certain ships are more powerful or more advanced, but when it comes to the overall chaos out there in the unknown regions, the Chiss are seemingly the most powerful. And so they have all these resources to protect themselves. And so, but who are they protecting? They're protecting the Chiss people, which is very interesting because we learn about the politics of the Chiss Ascendancy very quickly. And we learn probably most about it in the third book, about just how these families and politics work, because we learn that there are 9 ruling families but then there's like the 40 other families that are kind of like second place in a sense for like their ability to influence things going on. And so it's all about family and what your family does, like what it's known for. It's always having a good name. Like they want, this family might be known for this certain sort of political power or for this production of this resource or whatever. And so there you have the 9 ruling families and then the 40 smaller families. And those numbers can change at any time. Because I think they said at one point there was only 3 ruling families or something. And then there's been like a dozen before. So it's kind of like your ability to prove yourself as a family is important. And so it's people taking advantage of other families and teaming up with other families. And we see that more and more as the story continues. We don't see that a lot in the first book. It's just kind of like we know that there's these family lines and the 9 and the 40. But then like in the second book, you see kind of like the pride being used because like the main planet that we're on with like the egg buoy, they're coming in to deceive the families. Like you say, oh, we need to make a name for ourselves. Like if we do this thing, like we can make a name for ourselves and maybe elevate ourselves into a ruling family. And so, and then in the third book, we have families fighting each other and going to war with each other because of what's going on. And it's because they're being deceived by outward forces, influences, but very quickly they will turn on each other to make sure that their family is more powerful than another family. And so, like, that's something that's hard for us to relate to. Just because it's not, when we think of family, it's more smaller, whereas families here are more like nations of people in a sense.
Yeah.
And so it's like a country that has one name. And so I don't know. I think they're not kind of like off this kind of side note, like the names of everybody I thought was very interesting. Cause like I knew Thrawn's name was Mithra Nuru Odo, or however you pronounce it. I'm like Anakin Skywalker. I probably can't pronounce it correctly. I thought that was a funny scene when he's trying to say Thrawn's full name.
Yeah.
And Thrawn's like, no, that's not correct. But Mithra Nuru Odo is, so you have your family name. So Myth was, so Thrawn becomes a myth. He gets adopted into that family. And so his last name or his family name is Myth. Then his given name is Ra. And then if I understand correctly, like the endings are based on like your job or career type of thing. And so Nuru Odo, I think must be like Nuru must be a military thing. And then we learn about the Odo in the last book about how he got that title added on. So like I was super confused the first time I saw these names, because what they do in the book is they give the full name of someone when you're introduced to them, and then you are just given their core name, which is the end of the family name, your given name, and then the beginning of your like the title or like position. So like Thrawn is his core name. And I remember like I was reading, I'm like, they introduced me to this character, and then next they refer to that person with their core name. And I had to read this thing over and over again.
Yeah.
Like the same page. I'm like, I thought they said this about this person, but now this person is doing it. I'm like, I was super confused. And then I realized the names, the core name was the middle of the full name. So, and every single time I tried to figure out what the name would be.
Try to predict it.
Okay. It's usually like usually 2 letters of the last name. Sometimes just the one. And then like I tried to like figure out, and then I was always wrong.
Yeah.
man, some of those
Well,
names
because
were
like,
nuts. Like I couldn't even pronounce the full names.
yeah,
And
and
Mark
like
Thompson was a beast at saying all these names
for
like
real.
super easily.
Well, I mean, easily for what it sounded in the audio, but he probably like had to like stop and retake it and pronounce the
Right.
names.
So was this name structure, was this in the original like non-canon thing, like this name system?
I think this, yeah, because it's the same writer. So like Timothy Zahn did the original. So I'm pretty sure he just used that same name structure. And it's for what I remember in one of the panels from ICCC, someone asked him like how he came up with those like name structures. And I believe if I remember correctly, it's loosely based off of the way they do like the way China does their names, where they say their last name as their first
Oh,
name, and then
okay.
their actual first name is what they say last. Like for instance, like in UFC, there's a fighter Zhang Wei Li, but her first name is Wei Li, not Zhang. But
Right.
that's how like they say their name, their last name first. So you
Right.
know exactly what family or what clan you're from,
Right.
and then it moves on.
Interesting.
So yeah, it'd be weird if people just called me like Shoemaker Andrew. And I mean like in high school or even college, like people just called me Shoemaker. They didn't really call me Andrew because there's so many, which makes sense. But like just think about like West. Like we just called you West all the time.
Dude, I hate when people
Yeah,
do that.
exactly. Like it's just we're not used to that. But yeah, so
There
I
was
think
there
it
was one professor in college. You probably know who he is. The cool professor. He would always call me West.
just West.
And I just because he called everyone by their last name. And I just didn't like it. But you know what I'm talking about?
Maybe it's cool for you and not cool for me, so I
No,
don't
no,
know.
no. He wanted to be cool, the cool guy,
Is his first name Jeff?
maybe.
Oh, okay. I love that I knew that.
um, but yes. So I think I don't know. I like the name. I like the name system. It's just like an interesting, and it was really
Yeah.
cool though. Was
Thrawn Yuroto.
how for me, like I'm trying to figure out these names. Like I'm looking at the name on paper. I can look at the letters. And okay, I tried to figure out the core name, and I couldn't do it. But like in the book, like the characters, they're so used to this, they'll just hear the full name once when they're introduced to them,
They
and
already know how to call them.
they already know what to say to them for their core name,
Yeah.
and I'm just like, dang,
Well, because their title is like Yuroto is his title, right?
right. It's two
So
because
they
before it was originally
Mithron.
Mithron Nuru was his name, but
Yes.
then he got Odo added on later on,
Yes. So
and
I wonder
so
if they just recognize like their titles and they kind of like
well, but it's the Thrawn, so the TH is from myth. Ra in the middle is his given name, which is like in a sense his first name. Then the N is just the first letter of Nuru.
mhm.
So like, but then the thing is like we've learned that you can change families, and so then that changes your name.
But
Like
does not only change your first name?
it
Your
changes
like
your family name,
yeah.
but then like
Because for instance like the main like one of the main girls, the first Skywalker we're introduced to, she doesn't have a family. Like
right
Skywalkers don't have a family and they get adopted into a family, and so she wanted to be adopted into the Thrawn or the
myth family,
Myth family so she could be closer to Thrawn,
right?
and
Because
and
what
so
was
she's able to.
then I can't even remember. Was was it who was it Ziara or no? Was
Yeah,
that Arlani?
no, Ziara or Lonnie isn't.
Because she had
Alani is like above Thrawn, isn't he? Isn't she?
Well, rank, but she doesn't have a family though.
I
She's
thought
never.
she would.
No, she had a
Was she?
family, but then she
Oh
got
yeah,
abandoned or whatever.
outcast.
So like I don't know. I have to, but I can't remember what Thales. Okay, look it up. But because Thales, because her, the TH is the same as Thrawn from Myth.
Mm-hmm.
Let's see if I
Yeah,
can.
if you're listening, it's confusing.
It was Eliastov was her name before she was adopted into the Myth family.
Mm.
So, yeah. So, I don't know. I really like the name system. It almost makes me want. I wish our name system was cool like that.
It can be. Let's
Start
try
our
yours right
own.
now.
Start our own nation.
So yours would be Wes Jeremiah Pod.
So West, but like their core names are always just like one word. So it'd be like, I don't know.
Wes Jer Pod.
So if I did like West and then Aya, I could do like. so so I'm looking. So if I did pod, so I wouldn't. So it would be STIAHPO. So it'd be Styapu. Styapu.
That's kind of cool. That's not bad.
Styapu. There's a shirt right there. Call me Styapu. Styapu
Yeah.
or Pa? Because it's pod.
Someone should create an art and put that. This is your name, and you just blue faced with the blue with the red eyes. That'd be cool.
That'd be cool. But
I still like German more though.
So your shoemaker, so ER would be the last, and then Drew, and then roaster. That would be.
No, I would claim Pod would be.
Oh, you'd be pod too. So
I'm not gonna call you meter.
ear Drupo.
Drupal.
Ear Drupo. That's shoemaker Drew podcaster. So Styapu in ear Drupu. Ear Drupu. Okay. So let us know what your guys's Chis name would be. Okay, so speaking of that, like I didn't realize this until we got an email about this, but there's the Q&A section on Spotify. So like when I edit the videos, I just upload it, put in a description. But like below that, you can do like polls and you can do Q&As. And
so I didn't. That must be a newer thing.
So we got an email like a few weeks ago of people like, "Oh, did you see your answers to your Q&A?" So the default Q&A question is, "What did you think of this episode?" And people post like their comments on these videos on.
Oh, that's cool.
So you can actually do custom questions. So maybe for the Q&A, but I don't know how to view it. Like I went on Spotify on our podcast and I couldn't see that. It must be just on an app. Must be just on a phone app.
Let me see
to see the Q&As. But
I'll pull it up right now. I don't know. I didn't.
But yeah, so I will try to remember to put what is your Chis name. And so obviously you don't have to tell us like your actual names. Like
no, you can make it up. Just make it up if you want.
Well, if you do want, but you don't have to tell us like your full like first last name, your full first name. Like you can just do like I kind of we just took the first two letters of the last name, part of your actual name, and then the first letter or two of your job or career or something. We'll keep that. Well, that would be our question, a Q&A question. If I remember to put that in there, if I don't remember to put that in, that would be
send a
Q&A.
voicemail next week and yell at them.
Send a voicemail or whatever. But that'll be a fun.
I don't know how to view it.
So, but people commented. I don't know how people commented on it. Like I tried looking it up and I couldn't comment on ours from my own Spotify account. So,
I don't know.
but let us know either way.
But while you're over there figuring out and leaving us a Q&A question or answering it, make sure you give us a 5-star review while you're over there.
Yeah.
Why not?
And you know who else gets 5-star reviews all the time, Drew?
Wesley Andrews.
Wesley Andrews Coffee and Tea. They're the best coffee in the chaos. Like
True.
this is like Thrawn would drink this coffee. Like
or tea. I feel like Thrawn's more of
You think he's a tea guy?
A green tea guy, something chill. Maybe some like oolong tea guy.
I don't know anything about tea, so I can't attest.
But that one guy who was kind of backstabbing Thrawn, he's definitely an espresso kind of guy.
Thurfian?
Yeah. He gets a little thirsty, if you know what I mean.
And Zestelmu, like they definitely drink some coffee together, conspiring.
They dabble in the dark coffee.
Yeah,
sure.
So let's take a listen to our sponsor for today, Wesley Andrews Coffee and Tea.
Hey everyone, Andrew here. I'm pleased to tell you that the sponsor of today's episode is Wesley Andrews Coffee and Tea. If you don't know anything about Wesley Andrews, you definitely should. They're an award-winning coffee roaster and shop in Minneapolis, Minnesota, and they make fantastic coffee. The awesome thing is that whether you live in the Twin Cities or not, you can get their coffee beans delivered straight to your door by ordering them online. They even have a subscription service that ensures you never run out of amazing coffee. If you've been looking for some new coffee to try or a way to elevate your normal coffee routine, now's your chance. Head over to wesleyandrews.cc, use the code Empire Radio, that's with a capital E and a capital R with no space at checkout, to get 15% off your first purchase of any bags of coffee or a coffee subscription. I can't think of a better deal. Get 15% off some great coffee, support a small business, and support your favorite Star Wars podcast. In the words of Emperor Palpatine, do it.
Do it.
Well, that was pretty quick. Do it. But yes.
Also, speaking of Spotify, we appreciated all you guys who sent on Instagram and stuff. Your guys's number one podcast was ours, or we're in your top 5 podcast listening.
Yeah, if you haven't seen our post on Instagram from last week, we posted some of our statistics that we got because every year Spotify does, they do their profiles basically on recap of what you listen to, but then like podcasts we get our special like stats and stuff to make us feel good about ourselves. So we're in this year alone 50 people in 53 different countries.
That's pretty cool.
have listened to us. And so
so if you guys haven't sent over your guys' stuff on Instagram, feel free. I know some of them like we got them, and then not all of our, like, you can't message us sometimes, like we have to go out of our way to open up certain messages. So I apologize if we didn't throw yours on our story yet, but keep sending them in if you guys feel like, oh shoot, I forgot to send to you guys how much I love you guys, because we definitely appreciate you guys, and we would definitely put you guys in our story on Instagram.
Yeah. So. And for some reason I thought that like this year we had longer episodes than before, but I think last year at the same time we had like 6,300 minutes of podcast hours or upload time, but this year we only have so far 5,400. So we're like 900 minutes short. Andrew hasn't been here, so that makes sense. But
yeah,
I thought we've had a lot longer episodes, just the two of us, than we did with Andrew. But
I mean, they're longer compared to when you and me just did it. Like anytime Andrew was out, it was like we did them quicker.
Right.
So yeah.
But yeah, so definitely a lot of fun stats that we posted. Go check that out on Instagram. But yeah, so that's predominantly what I have for just talking points for the world of the chaos, as we're calling it. Is there any other things about the world building of the chaos of the Chiss? Anything like that you'd like to talk about, Drew?
No, I think like for me the biggest thing out of that was the Skywalker stuff. Like that stuff is so interesting, and like we learned a lot, but I feel like there's so much more to learn. And I don't know if we'll ever learn any more of it. Like I don't think
Right.
Timothy's doing any more Thrawn stuff right now.
Right.
So I don't know.
So
And
like, here's the thing. So like I said, I haven't read the next trilogy. But like the Grisk are the main enemies in this trilogy. We aren't really introduced to them until the third book, really. But I know that the Grisk are enemies in the next trilogy, and I do remember that Andrew once said that he thinks that the Grisk are going to be the threat that like the Mandalorian and Boba Fett and Ahsoka, like there's a threat out there that this group is going to end up
Thrawn and
Ezra. So
Ezra.
I'm expecting, I hope that the Grisk are going to be something that we're going to see in live action. And
I think
with
we
Thrawn,
probably will with the Ahsoka show.
and with Thrawn going to be in Ahsoka, like we might see more Chiss through that. Like I'm excited to see like some of these characters I've already met, like to see them in live action. Like
that'd be sick.
Be cool to see Thalius and Chewie and some of these other people. I think it would be really cool if they were in the Ahsoka series, or if after the Ahsoka series, like we get more
Thrawn series,
or Thrawn series, or more Chiss kind of spin-off or something. Like I think it would be really cool, just to see these Chiss in action, live action, see the chaos and like kind of things that they do.
Because I know like Timothy's on the writer. He talked about in the panel from ICCC. He was talking about how he's waiting to figure out where they're gonna pick up the Ahsoka stuff, and he will potentially either pitch or hopefully Lucas film will pitch for him to write. He's thinking there's going to be a gap between Rebels and the Ahsoka show, and if they don't cover a lot of that with Thrawn and Ezra, he's hoping to write a trilogy about what's going on in that gap.
That'd be really hard.
Well,
because you gotta because the thing about this trilogy, the Ascendency trilogy, he basically had free reign to do whatever he wants, because no matter what he wrote, it wouldn't contradict any of the canon. So like
he said that this was the easiest,
right?
besides the first three that he did that aren't canon anymore, because that was pretty much the same. It was like, just do what you want. Like we just want to keep making money off of the name Star Wars,
right? And so it would be interesting.
But he did it with the first trilogy came out. He had to navigate canon walls a lot, so he can do it, and he knows he can. And I don't want to spoil the whole vlog, but he also said that he there's characters that he wants to write trilogies on, and he just needs them to pretty much go to him and let him do it. And he's so into the Star Wars universe and like making sure everything fits perfectly, and he crosses all the T's. And the people that he works with, he says, like from Lucasfilm, they're very good at telling him what he can and can't do, or like giving him a timelines and stuff to play with. So I feel like he's really good about it, like figuring that out.
Right. He's a good navigator.
True. He has his own Skywalker to help him through.
So, yeah. So like I said, Ahsoka is coming out sometime next year, and we're gonna see live action Thrawn. And I really hope that he's not the only Chiss that we see. Like,
that'd be sick, dude.
So when I first started reading the first book, I when I learned about the merit adoptives, like adopting someone into your family and taking their name, I made the theory that Ezra,
Ooh, I was just supposed to say, you think Ezra got adopted?
that they're gonna become, even though they're enemies when they disappear together. I feel like they could work together somehow, and I don't know if a non-Chiss can be adopted, but like Ezra being adopted, like what would his name be? TH Ezra. So, well, Ezra. But what would his be like? What title like
Jedi?
like a he like not a Padawan, because that would be like a Jedi thing. But if it was a Padawan, it'd be Thezrap or
Well, yeah,
something.
what is
But
his title?
who knows what it would be? But I think it would be cool if he was adopted.
Yeah, that would be sick. I don't know. Do you think, real quick, do you think that Ezra and Thrawn are going to be coming out of this as friends?
I don't know. It's gonna be hard to say. Like, there's a lot to, because look, Rebels ends like a year or 6 months before Rogue One, probably like a year, and then you have, let's say it's a year, that brings you a year plus 5 years for the original trilogy plus another 5 years, so we're 11 years between when we last see them and when we're going to see them in Ahsoka. So it's one of those things where, like, I find it hard to believe that they were together for the past 11 years and they never parted ways. Like, it would be really weird if.
And Thrawn's not really a character that, like, it wouldn't surprise me if Thrawn does become, like, working with Ezra.
Well, I'd say I wouldn't even know. Like,
Yeah.
because, like, it's hard to say. I don't know, because Ahsoka and Sabine are going out to find Ezra. They're not going out there to find Thrawn. And so.
But we only got a Thrawn name drop.
Huh?
We got a Thrawn name drop, not an Ezra name drop.
Right, but we know that Ahsoka and Sabine are looking for Ezra, though.
Correct.
But they're trying to. But Ahsoka wants to find Thrawn to find information on where Ezra is, and so she only knows Thrawn as a lead. So we don't know if it's because Thrawn and Ezra are working together or what.
Yeah, I don't know.
But this isn't an Ahsoka. We'll be talking about that next year.
True. Also, before Mando comes out, people were saying that we should potentially do a recap, like rank our favorite episodes from season 2, because we didn't really do that.
Of Mando?
Of Mando.
Dude, we're not going to have time for that, dude.
Well, we might have to squeeze it in, because people loved when we did that for the first season of Mando.
Did we do that for the first season?
Yeah.
Rank episodes?
No, we did a recap. That's when we had Andrew on for the first time.
Oh, well, that. Yeah. I thought you meant like
a recap of the Mando season 2, and we can rank our favorite episodes and our favorite moments, like the Thrawn name dropped. Dude, that was.
I still have
chills from that.
No, I still have my reaction. I recorded my reaction. I have yet to put. Now that I know how to record Disney Plus.
Ooh, don't tell the world that. Chill.
Okay, everyone on YouTube does it. Gosh. But like, I can now put like the video of those scenes with my reaction to Ahsoka live action, and then the Thrawn name drop. I could put the videos so you can watch it together. So I need to.
Maybe you should take some of my watch party like scenes, and like when I cried when you couldn't swim.
Oh, I still haven't looked at. I keep forgetting to look at that.
Bro, you gotta watch that part, man. 14 minutes in.
Yeah. Well. Anyway, we're starting to babble on now, so that's the Thrawn Ascendency. So that's just the world building. Next week,
Yes.
we're gonna actually talk about plot points and the story and all that jazz. And so I'm gonna try and like go over my notes because I took notes on every chapter. I'm probably gonna watch some recap videos on YouTube of just to refresh my mind because it's been like a month and a half since I finished reading those books. So,
Oh, if you guys already read them and you guys want recaps, this is you gotta come in next week because it's gonna get good. I'm excited.
yeah. So if you've read the books, and you maybe have some questions for us about like what we think about the
So,
trilogy, send in a
Sure.
voicemail or something.
Yes.
And so we could answer some questions about stuff because, Drew and I, yeah, we've read them, but like when it comes to reading books, it's hard for us to like talk. Like
We're not Andrew.
we're not Andrew.
Okay.
Like we wish we invited Andrew
Yes.
to join, but he
Go
wasn't.
spam his Instagram and
But like he was always the best at like summarizing and understanding book stories. It was always hard for me and Drew to really comprehend reading stuff. So we're gonna do our best to get through next week, but because we're doing 3 books that we're talking about, so we gotta keep each book pretty quick so we don't go for like 4 hours or something like that. So,
correct.
but yeah. Well, other than that, let's just transition over to everyone's favorite time, voicemail time.
Let's go. It's voicemail time.
All right, cool. Well, we have some voicemails, but we also have some questions submitted to us through email. So we'll do those first. So we've received questions from this individual before in an email from, I don't know if it was last episode that we did or a couple episodes ago.
I don't remember.
Because it's all blurred now. But so we said his name wrong. We said Elias because I guess that must be the English way to pronounce it. But this person says that it's Elias. So,
Which is even cooler.
which is cool, like Elias. So thank you for the questions, Elias. So you have some for us. First question. It's for Drew.
Ooh.
So he says, I know that Drew likes Lord of the Rings, unlike some people, looking at you, Jeremiah. But here's my question. What is your favorite movie of the Lord of the Rings trilogy and why?
Ooh, that's a good question. I'm gonna say, I don't know if that's a hot take. I'm gonna say Two Towers. It's my favorite one because that battle scene was so cool as a kid, and I love that battle scene. And
Is that the second movie?
Yeah, second one.
Okay.
And they're battling, and there's no hope left, and then they come like Gandalf comes on a horse, and it's like super really intense moment. I really like that. Like the battle scenes in like the third one is really cool, and the Frodo stuff is really sweet. But I really really love the Two Towers a lot. I think that would be my number 2. And then you also get a lot of Gollum development through that one too, which I really liked his character development. So I would say Two Towers. But only watch the extended edition. If you're watching these movies and they're not extended, don't watch them. Not worth it. Gotta watch the extended. Jeremiah, I'm looking at you.
I don't remember which ones I watched. Probably not the extended.
Probably not.
But I was never impressed. I would say though that even though I don't remember anything from those movies, I do remember that the third movie was tolerable. So
They should like revisit them.
maybe now that I have a 4K TV.
Yeah.
which they weren't made in 4K, so it's not going to be like real 4K. So
No, but they hold up, bro.
is it probably on Amazon? I don't think they were on Netflix at one point. I thought
No, they were on HBO.
Oh yeah, probably HBO. That makes more sense because I watched the Hobbit trilogy on HBO
Yes.
when it was all on there. So
Which that
speaking
don't
of
know.
HBO, The Last of Us comes out next month. Starting.
That's next month,
Dude, I am so hyped for that.
bro.
That trailer that just came out a few days ago.
Dude, it's so, bro. If we would
Did
ever
you
do a
play the
Patreon,
game? Did you play
of
the first game?
course, we've had these conversations.
I don't remember you ever saying. I always just obsessed over it, and I never heard you remember you saying.
No,
But
the first game I played it like nonstop.
oh really, dude?
Yes, that was like my favorite game forever.
Maybe we'll have to do a special episode reviewing the show,
dude.
Because
if we had time to break down all those episodes and have a Patreon, that would be.
But like that trailer though, I was like, okay, what are they going to change about the game or the show from compared to the game? Like, is it going to be a big difference? But like based on this trailer, it seems like almost everything in the game is in this show. Like they're just copy pasting. There's there's some differences, but
it looks so good. Also, all the Lord of the Rings are on HBO right now, just so you know, and the extended editions.
Okay. Well, I'm currently not subscribed to HBO, but
you're about to be
January 15th, I will be subscribed because I'll be watching The Last of Us.
We should.
Dude, it's Sundays, dude. Come on over to my house. We can watch it every Sunday.
Bro, if I didn't have a kid, I would totally do that with you. You know this. Now, should we start Patreon and do episode breakdowns of this? And
dude, we don't got time to do that, dude.
Well, we might figure out time.
For
let us know if you guys want to pay $5 a month for us to break down shows that aren't Star Wars. Let us know if you guys want this. If we have 100 people saying they're down for that, then we'll do it.
100 people, that's $500 a month.
Exactly. That's what I'm saying.
That's like
let us know if you guys want
a huge chunk of our audience.
We need 100 of you guys. So comment in any platform you guys can. But if you guys want us to break down shows that aren't Star Wars,
I feel like if 20 people did it, we'd still do it. $100 a month.
Okay,
that's a lot more than we're getting now. But
let's say 50. Let's split it into 50 people.
So $250 a month.
If 50 people are willing to subscribe to a non-Star, like we would do Stranger Things, we could do Cobra Kai, we could do, like, we would obviously still keep it family friendly, but maybe the shows wouldn't be family friendly.
Right. And right.
Like, if you guys don't, we're pretty clean people. Like, it's gonna still be family friendly, but
there's not a lot of shows that I watch. So it's like the stuff on Netflix that I binge, like the live action Avatar show is coming out next month or next year sometime.
There's gonna be some series that are coming out that just let us know.
Right.
We need at least 50 of you guys to be willing to do that. Then we'll.
Right.
I'm down. Because I want to talk about this stuff.
Anyway, that was Elias's first question.
Okay.
Second question is just a general question for the both of us. What is our favorite cereal? He says that his is Cinnamon Toast Crunch. Now, I just said his. Elias is a male name, but is Elias, is that?
We don't know.
I don't know. Sorry if
whatever you go by.
But
yes, whatever you
we'll go with he for now. But favorite?
How about we go with them for now?
But his favorite is Cinnamon Toast Crunch.
Yes, their favorite is Cinnamon Toast Crunch.
What is your favorite, Drew, cereal?
Life.
Just regular Life or Cinnamon Life? Cinnamon Life is a little next level sometimes.
Yeah, Cinnamon Life slaps. Not gonna lie, but I'm just gonna stay with solid Life. Like, if I had one cereal to pick for the rest of my life, it would be Life. No pun intended. I love Life. I think it's consistent. It's good. You don't feel like your teeth are
Okay,
gonna
they're
fall
all
out.
consistent.
No, but okay, that's true. But I feel like some
They,
cereals, like your teeth hurt, or you're like it cuts the inside of your mouth because it's like, I don't know. But you also don't. You only have cereal without milk too.
right, I just eat it plain, like in a cup. So
Yes.
I have a wide range of stuff because I just get whatever's on sale.
Can I
Like,
guess yours?
go ahead.
Cocoa Puffs.
No,
Dang it! I just always
I do get that
remember
occasionally,
seeing you watching you eat it out of the cup.
but
We've had these conversations.
I would say that honey bunches of oats.
Ooh.
I think that's a good like range of
Mid-range.
flavors.
Yeah.
Like you get like just the plain cornflakes in there. You get like the granola things. You get like the frosted flakes in it too. So there's like a wide range of flavors and textures. But they don't. I don't think they make it anymore. But the vanilla honey bunches of oats,
Yes.
that tasted like fortune cookies.
Yeah, that was pretty good. Yeah, I feel like every once in a while, like growing up as a kid, like my favorite was probably like not Fruit Loops. What's the other one? Fruity Pebbles. Oh,
Like I
it's
liked all
good.
those. Like I would say Cinnamon Toast Crunch when I was a kid was probably my favorite.
Oh yeah, for sure.
But
That or Fruity Pebbles, but Fruity Pebbles, like
but
I could just eat a whole box in one sitting, and then it's so bad.
Right.
Like, it's
but
not good.
Yellow Snow in the chat says
Yes,
Golden Grams.
Golden Grams. And you know what's crazy is I actually have a box of Golden Grams because that's Stephanie's favorite. So I actually eat Golden Grams a decent amount too.
Will,
But
is
then-
that reaction in the chat because I am reading the chat? Or
Ooh,
oh no,
Cinnamon Toast Crunch
no.
is goated.
But I like a wide range. Like there's not a lot of cereals I don't like. Like I don't know. Like I'm not gonna eat like honeycombs. Like
Really, I like honeycombs.
I've never did that, but like
The thing that some cereals are just too much for me. Like, I'm trying to think of it. Oh, you know what cereal I don't like, and this is probably a hot take. What's the one with marshmallows? Lucky Charms. I hate Lucky Charms, dude. I don't know. That's a hot take. I don't like.
well,
I don't like the marshmallows.
I
They
love
taste
the
like
marshmallow.
chalk.
I like the when I eat it, I eat the grain part and then leave all the marshmallows to the end and eat the marshmallows straight.
No, I can't.
I don't know. Zaratopius says Honey Nut Cheerios. Like
Yeah.
Cheerios, like yeah, they're good. But
That's how they're gluten free. Honey Nut Cheerios are gluten free. So
they are.
yeah. When I was like strictly gluten free, I always had like Cheerios, like honey, or like what's the apple one?
Apple Jacks.
No, there's like not Applejack. There's like another one. They have like flavors. Apple Jacks is not healthy. There's like a healthier version of that.
Oh, I don't know.
But yeah.
But
you don't like Zarantozia in the chat said he doesn't like Lucky Charms either.
I feel like a lot of people don't like Lucky Charms. But
really, I feel like that was a hot take.
I think it's one of those things.
I don't like the marshmallows.
I think it's either you really like it or you don't like it at all. There's no in between.
Oh, okay.
And so like people who don't like Lucky Charms are adamant about saying they don't like Lucky Charms.
Yeah, I don't like the marshmallow. Any marshmallow cereal is not me because it just tastes weird. It's not real marshmallow. It's not like because they have to dry it out so that it doesn't like fully blow up when you put milk in it. So like
that too.
It's like a different texture, and it's just not me. I'm interested to see what people overseas because their cereal is so much different than ours, like in different countries.
They don't even eat cereal outside. Oh, I
yeah,
guess
they do.
Oh, I guess Zartopius, he's from Canada, so yes, that's cereal.
Bruh.
But I feel like
Canada's like literally 5 hours from here. That's the other side.
But I feel like cereal is more a North American thing then.
The fruity pebbles.
When you watch movies and shows of people like that, like in Europe or something, you don't see them eating bowls of cereal.
What do you do in Star Wars?
That's just Cyril because that's his name. I really want to ask Tony Gilroy, is his name Cyril because
he eats cereal?
He was gonna before you originally wrote, okay, he's eating cereal, and his name was like Jed or something like that.
They're like, no, that's
that's Cyril eating cereal. And when you watch
apparently you can buy a box of that cereal now at Galaxy's Edge.
Perfect. They're gonna make a lot of money on that cereal. But
so much money.
But yes, thank you, Elias, for those questions. We hope to hear you send in an actual voicemail sometime soon. It'll be really cool to hear that. So, but if you just want to keep sending them in as email, that's perfectly fine.
That's fine too.
But that being said, let's get into some voicemails here. First one from Emperor Palpatine.
Ooh, where has he been?
Hello, Empire Radio. It's Emperor Palpatine. I just wanted to say that I decided to drop into your Discord, and I realized that the community you've built of fellow Imperial-loving citizens is fantastic. You are doing incredible work and have my personal commendations. I look forward to further interacting with my subjects in your Discord, and I would recommend that more people join so that they can experience the full power of the dark side. Anyways, have a fantastic evening, Empire Radio, and keep up the good work.
All right, thank you, Palpatine. And once again, the sender, it keeps getting faster and faster, which is a weird thing. But yes, Emperor Palpatine did join the Discord. And so
that's cool.
I haven't heard from him for a while, though. Like, he was there really active for a while, and then he kind of disappeared. So I know he's running a galaxy. He's doing his Sith stuff. So
join the fleet.
Join the fleet. Yep.
Join the Imperial fleet.
But
we need to make a Discord shirt that only Discord members can buy.
Should that'd be?
We should.
But we should probably get general merch too.
Well, that too.
But that being said, but yes, did he ask a question? I don't think he asked a question.
No, he was just flexing that he's.
But speaking of Palpatine joining the Discord, let's listen to a voicemail from Addie.
Oh.
Hey, Empire Radio, it's Addie back at you with another voicemail. I'm sorry for the quality of my voice. I am sick right now, apparently, with a low-grade fever. But I just want to let you know that my parents have allowed me to join Discord. So, yeah, I'll be able to chat with y'all there.
Nice.
That's the only thing I gotta say. Anyway, I hope you have an awesome day, and may the Force be with you. Bye.
Well, hopefully you're getting better.
Yes. Yep. Get well soon, as they say. But yes, Addie has joined the Discord, and she's been fairly active. Like, remember back in the day when there'd be like hundreds and hundreds of comments.
Mm-hmm.
Like, since she's joined, like, she's added a bunch of a spark to the Discord.
Aww.
So
that's for Addie right there.
Like that first day that she joined, like, I got home and there was like 400 comments, and like, we haven't had that many comments in a long time, and it's just, and then someone else joined. There's someone else joined, Kale Salad. Shout out to Kale Salad from Canada. She joined the same day, so then like all these new people were like talking, and like people are getting to know each other. So
that's cool.
So
join the Discord if you haven't.
Yeah, Discord's been pretty active for the past 5 days or 6 days it's been. So it's been exciting.
That's sweet.
But yes,
join the Discord.
But that being said, let's just listen to another voicemail from Addie.
Hey, Empire Radio, it's Addie back at you with another voicemail. My anchor's finally working, so yeah. Here's what's going on. I have been going through a little bit of writer's block right now. It's so bad that I had to stop start over working on the second script, and I got no idea what I'm going to do. So, if you guys have any inspiration to help me get through this, that'd be great. Jeremiah, feel free to fill Drew in on what's going on and give a couple spoilers, but not too many spoilers. We still want people to be surprised. Anyway, I hope you have an awesome day, and may the force be with you. Bye!
Yes, Eddie. So, I like to write. The only story I've written is my Bad Batch fan fiction. But the thing is, Drew,
We're still waiting for season 3.
Season 3. But her script is for a Bad Batch fan fiction, her own Bad Batch fan fiction. So this takes place quite a few years after our events, and so I would say don't worry about season 2 right now because you're still working on season 1. You haven't even started filming one for your first script, and so
yeah, just focus on one and
focus on season 1. Yeah, so your first movie, just focus on that, but don't write anything down. Just as you're working on season or the first movie, just think of stuff in your head. Just think things in your head, and maybe if you have a good idea, just write it down. Let's have a list of cool plot points or storylines.
I thought she was saying that she had to redo season 1.
No, just season 2. She said.
Oh,
so
finish 1 first.
She's finished the script for 1, but but just work on your first film. That's the best advice I can give you. And as you're working on it, ideas are going to pop in your head, and just write those ideas down. So when you're done filming and that movie comes out on YouTube, then start doing season 2 because
and especially if you're filming it, your actors are going to change parts of it, and you're going to be surrounded hopefully by people that are going to inspire you to move these characters along differently in season 2.
Right. So just slow down. You don't got to rush into things. Because even professional movie makers, they take 2-3 years between movies. So you don't need to feel like you're going faster than that. So
yeah.
But keep up the good work, Addie. I know you said you're starting casting for your film and is that just after Christmas or this month or something? So I look forward to seeing that movie whenever it comes out.
Yeah.
But that being said,
Jeremiah can play Old Rex too.
I can play what?
An Old Rex.
I could. I have to bleach my hair though.
Do it.
No, that's not gonna happen.
Chat?
No. What is chat? Chat's not gonna say anything. What are they? They can't make me do anything.
Put a poll up.
But anyway, let's listen to a voicemail from our favorite Australian, Toby.
Hi, Empire Radio. This is Toby again. I've got a bit of a random question for you, but I was at my local servo, right? Getting a sausage roll and stuff. And I don't know if it's just in Australia, but I have to pay $1 for sauce. And I was just thinking about it, it's kind of bad. But yeah, I just want to hear your opinion on that. And I just wanted to also ask, do you guys have a type of sauce that you just could not live without? Mine would have to be probably tomato sauce. But anyway, thank you.
Tomato sauce.
Red sauce.
What?
Red sauce, pasta sauce.
Oh, pasta sauce. Wait, so it's paid for $1 for sauce for what?
A sausage roll, which is kind of
hot dog.
It's kind of like a corn dog, but it's not terrible.
There's no
it's a sausage. It's a sausage with a pastry around it or something.
Yeah. So my question is he paying $1 for ketchup or mustard or something?
I don't know because I don't know what a sausage. I've never had a sausage roll, but it must be. I pictured it as a dipping sauce.
Ketchup or a condiment.
No, not like ketchup. I'm thinking more like a pasta sauce.
Oh.
A more sophisticated sauce. But he said he has to pay extra for it, and he's like, "Do we have to pay extra for sauces here?" And I would say
depends on what it is.
Well, I would say if in restaurants you don't pay extra for sauce, but there are things when you can do add-ons.
Okay, so if you think of like Chipotle, if
Like,
you want
guacamole,
guac,
that's extra.
it's extra. Or if you want like queso, that's extra.
Right.
So in that sauce, like if I wanted to buy a bag of chips,
But
the
I feel
queso
like
is not free.
right, but like
But then like salsa is mostly free. So I don't know, like, but like, okay, let's say it is like a side of like mozzarella or like a side of like tomato sauce or whatever, right? For a sausage roll, for a piece of meat. I don't think we would pay extra for that. I think that would probably be part of it.
because if it's supposed to be like a main thing for the main
That
food item,
meal,
like it should be, it's usually going to be free
correct.
or incorporate actually
Or
incorporate
part
in the
of the
price.
pay.
And so like that's not something. But like if it's
No.
like an additional thing like guacamole, like that's something you would choose to have extra. But
Yeah.
also because avocados are expensive, so
Yeah. But I was thinking it was like he bought like a hot dog and he had to pay extra for like ketchup.
I'm
If that's the thing.
I'm guessing that's like equivalent to what we would do. So I think it's kind of outrageous that you have to pay extra.
Correct. Because we don't like, we have this thing. I don't know if you guys have it there, but we have a thing called Taco Bell. And they just ask you how much sauce you want. Like,
they just grab
and they grab a
handful.
handful and throw it in your bag. So if it's that, if it's the equivalent of like, let us know next week, send another voicemail. If it's like a packet of sauce and you have to pay $1 for one packet of ketchup, that's messed up.
Right.
Come to the States. We'll throw every drawer in everyone's house has like packets in it.
Right. So
But I mean, even like McDonald's though, when you get like sauce for your chicken nuggets and stuff, you only get like one. You can't get more than one.
Right.
So I guess, or like even Chick-fil-A, I think you only can get like one packet.
Right. But he did ask us also what sauce we could not live without. So I'd say yes, a red sauce, like tomato sauce, like spaghetti sauce, like
yeah. If you're speaking of like tomato sauce, obviously
like that. But
let's say condiments.
Condiments.
Like, what's a condiment that you couldn't live without?
I would say barbecue sauce.
Oh,
because I use that for like
everything.
Not everything, but like if I have like a shredded pork sandwich or something, you drizzle that on there. Or if I do like breaded chicken strips, like chicken tenders, like I like that, dip them in barbecue sauce. But like I'll tell you that I don't have ketchup or mustard or anything like that.
Yeah,
so.
I honestly I don't really use. I would probably say like soy sauce for me. I use soy sauce a lot more than like, because I don't really eat a lot of sandwiches, and we don't like. Steph doesn't really care for ketchup or mustard, so we don't really have that a lot in our house.
Interesting.
She would probably say like buffalo sauce for her. She loves buffalo sauce.
Interesting.
So yeah.
Yeah, but I can't think of any other like condiment type sauces that.
I really think he's saying red sauce has ketchup.
No.
Bro, all right, let us know.
No, because he said tomato sauce. That's not. That's a. You can go to a store and get cans of tomato sauce
it's
right now.
They might call ketchup tomato sauce.
No.
All right, let us know.
Let us know.
That'd be crazy. If that's.
But anyway, thank you for the questions. But we got one last voicemail, which Drew, we discussed this as a possibility to come in our way via voicemails, and it's happened.
What?
But no one has ever. It was just us between this conversation. So let's just listen.
Okay.
Hello, Empire Radio. I am Jeremiah's Mike here with a question for y'all. Who is your least favorite droid in Star Wars? Let me know, and may the Force be with you. Always.
So when I got my new mic a couple weeks ago, Drew's like, we were talking like, oh, wouldn't it be funny if Jeremiah's mic started sending in voicemails? We just talked about that before the show. Like,
that wasn't on stream or anything.
No, I don't think so.
If that wasn't on stream or anything.
And the thing is, I know who sent this in too. Like this, they left their name in the thing on accident, so I know.
Me after.
I know who sent this in, but yes, they must have known about the Drew's mic, and now Jeremiah's mic is now a thing, and so
I thought it was going to be Jeremiah's mouse from last week.
Oh, clicking! Oh, that would have been funny too. But yes, the question is, who's our least favorite droid? I believe in Star Wars, I think was the question. Least favorite? I don't know.
I know.
What's yours?
No, you go first.
Okay, this might be a hot take.
Oh.
But C-3PO is kind of annoying.
Oh, that's a hot take.
I don't know if he's my least favorite, but like I don't like him as much as other people do. Like I don't hate him, but like he's kind of annoying sometimes. Like, but I'll go with C-3PO. Drew, yours?
Wow. Well, I have a few. I have one that the newest droid from the Skywalker series. I don't even remember the name.
Dio?
Yeah,
the one on the single wheel.
Yeah, that was that's
he was
a waste of a character.
He was just there to sell merch,
honestly, and no one bought it. But my least favorite droid, I think, right now is the droid from Andor. B.
You don't like him?
No.
Okay. That's a hot take.
No,
people love him.
Yours is very hot. Mine's a little warm.
People were angry when they flipped him over in the last episode. People were mad.
I just don't have an attachment to that droid, and he was way more functional when he was fixed.
Well, duh.
And now he just doesn't want to listen.
He's getting old. You're not going to be so sharp when you're old. So
that's true. These new droid designs are kind of getting annoying for me. Like,
you can't just do the same R2 unit and protocol droid. That's lame.
Why not? Because R5's is amazing. R2's dope.
All right. Well,
what if I would have said my least favorite is R2?
Then that's fine.
No, it's not. That's how I feel about you saying C-3PO.
Oh, okay, whatever.
Dude, C-3PO is amazing. My favorite droid. Wait, don't we have the same favorite droid?
We do have a episode on our top droids, so go listen to that.
Oh, go listen to that.
All right, cool. Well, thank you, Drew or Jeremiah's mic, for sending in a voicemail.
But don't throw my mic into it.
But
he's been on hiatus.
That's all the voicemails tonight. So let's just go over some socials and get out of here. So there's a link in the description below. links.co/Empire Radio. There's a landing page for everything. Facebook, Instagram, join the Discord, email, the VCU, needlesslynerdy.com podcast network. Go click on that. That's everything, so you get connected. But like I said, the Discord's been popping the last few days, so join the Discord.
Keep popping. Keep it popping.
Yeah. So, anything else, Drew?
No. Go check out those videos on YouTube if you guys haven't. And while you're over there, hit that thumbs up button. All
right. Cool. Well, like we said, next week will be week 2 of Thrawn Ascendency trilogy. And so get excited for that. Send in voicemails if you have any questions about the Ascendency trilogy. So, all right. Well, you've been listening to a Thrawn-tastic episode of Empire Radio. I'm Jeremiah.
I'm Drew.
And may the Force be with you.
Always.